A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate.
Channel 7. A little louder. A little softer. A Channel 5.
For those who don't have a butler, Zenith suggests Space Command Remote Control. It changes channels. It changes sound levels. It even turns your TV off.
It's all systems go as the White House celebrates the launch of U.S. Space Command.
SpaceCom will ensure that America's dominance in space is never questioned and never threatened.
Space Command is an effort to reorganize and boost the U.S. military's tech capabilities in outer space. It's existed before, but dissolved more than a decade ago. General Jay Raymond currently leads what's known as Air Force Space Command. He'll be the first commander of U.S. Space Command.
On behalf of the space warfighters, thank you for your leadership.
Under SpaceCom, the military says 87 units will work to provide everything from missile warnings to satellite-based navigation for troops in the field.
Or on, without wires or batteries. Space Command Remote Control is available in a full range of screen sizes, and it's now standard equipment in the new Zenith Space Command line.
Channel 2. A little softer. A little louder.
At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on.
Times are too serious. The stakes are too high. People will not be hoodwinked. You will not be bamboozled.
You guys know what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm. Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
Allá, viene una tormenta.
What did he just say?
He said there's a storm coming in.
Viano tormente. What'd you say? I said there's a storm coming.
There's a storm coming, Ari.
There is a storm coming!
There's a storm coming.
There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne.
There's a storm coming, brother.
You think I'm joking?
Being president is a serious job. So
walking and holding hands.
With my husband Michael and hold hands.
Holding hands.
With my husband Michael and hold hands.
We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Give us a hint.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
There are
There's a storm coming, Dr. Suresh.
There's a storm coming.
There is a storm coming, a black and terrible storm.
There's a storm coming. I sense there's a storm coming.
There's a storm coming!
Alice says there's a storm coming.
There's a storm coming. Storm's coming.
Mr. President, what did you mean by calm before the storm yesterday? What did you mean by that?
You'll find out.
We'll find out.
Thank you. We'll see.
Again, not working.
Thank you, everybody.
Storm coming soon.
A storm is coming, Frank says.
A storm is coming. Our storm. Storm's coming.
Storm's coming.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. Like the world has never seen. Like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening beyond a normal state. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before. The likes of which this world has never seen before.
Let there be no mistake. We shall completely destroy Japan's power to make war. It was to spare the Japanese people from utter destruction that the ultimatum of July the 26th was issued at Potsdam. Their leaders promptly rejected that ultimatum. If they do not now accept our terms, they may expect a rain of ruin from the air, the like of which has never been seen on this earth. The like of which has never been seen on this earth.
What a week it's been. I don't know about you. I was on pins and needles the entire time. Hello and good evening. I'm your host, Mike Michelson, and welcome to True Talk, our forum for issues growing out of the show. But tonight, something very special indeed. A rare and exclusive interview with the show's conceiver and creator. So, come with us now as we go live to the Lunar Room on the 221st floor of the Omnicam Ecosphere. That's where we'll find the world's greatest televisionary, the designer and architect of the world within a world that is Sea Haven Island, Crystal. Before we begin, I'd like to thank you on behalf of our audience for granting this exclusive interview. We know how demanding your schedule is, and we all know how jealously you guard your privacy. This, sir, is indeed an honor.
Don't mention it.
Well, the catalyst for the recent dramatic events on the show has been, of course, Truman's father, Kirk, and his attempts to infiltrate the show. But before we get into that, I think it's worth noting that this is not the first time that someone from the outside has attempted to reach Truman, is it?
We have had our close calls in the past.
Truman! It's television! Yes! Yes! I did it! On the Truman Show!
But there's never been anything to compare with this most recent breach in security, the first intruder to be a former cast member.
A dead one at that.
Gotta say, writing Kirk back in, masterstroke.
Since Kirk started this whole crisis in Truman's life, I came to the conclusion that he was the only one who could end it.
Truman! Truman! No! That's off limits!
Why? What's over there?
Nothing. It's dangerous, that's all. You've got to know your limitations, Truman.
But let's remind viewers of exactly why Dad was written out in the first place.
As Truman grew up, we were forced to manufacture ways to keep him on the island.
I'd like to be an explorer, like the Great Magellan.
Oh, you're too late. There's really nothing left to explore.
Finally, I came up with the concept of Kirk's drowning.
Most effective. Truman's been terrified of the water ever since.
When Kirk read the synopsis for the Death at Sea episode, he was disappointed, to say the least. And I'm sure that's what caused him to break back onto the set.
But how do you intend to explain his 22-year absence?
Amnesia.
Brilliant. Let's take some of those viewer phone calls. Charlotte, North Carolina, you're on with Christoph.
Yeah, hi, Christoph. I was just wondering how many cameras you got there in that town.
Somewhere in the vicinity of 5,000.
Oh, that's a lot of cameras.
Remember, we started with just one. He was curious from birth. Premature by 2 weeks. It was almost as if he couldn't wait to get started.
And of course, his eagerness to leave his mother's womb was the very reason he was the one who was elected.
In competition with 5 other unwanted pregnancies, the casting of a show determined by an air date, Truman was the one who arrived on cue.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program.
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo.
Incidentally, I believe Truman is the first child to have been legally adopted by a corporation.
That's correct.
The show has generated enormous revenues now equivalent to the gross national product of a small country.
People forget it takes the population of an entire country to keep the show running.
Storm's coming.
Storm's coming.
Storm's coming.
The great storm is coming! The wind that overturns the land!
This is the world as it exists today.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first.
These stunning bolts of lightning are actually connected to 3 skyscrapers, and if you know Chicago, you can probably pick them out right here. The thunderstorms came into the Windy City, and photographer Barry Butler caught the electrifying scene. Barry joins us right now to talk about these bolts. First of all, incredible capture. Were you surprised to get all of them striking at the same storm?
Well, it's something I actually aim for, and I've accomplished that four times in the last decade. So,
wow, what a wizard.
It's one of those things when there's a storm coming through, you're like, okay, will this be the night? And I'll tell you, last Friday night, I felt real good because it was insane, the amount of lightning that was in the sky. The photo that you're seeing there is from 2014, and that's obviously from last Friday.
These are spectacular, and for folks who don't know the city skyline, you're capturing the Willis Tower, formerly the Sears Tower, also the Hancock Building and Trump Tower.
You take the baton from the ones who've come before, and you carry it as far as you can, and then you hand it off.
What about you? Where you from?
Well, Honolulu, mostly. Grew up in Indonesia for a while, too.
You a whole different type of brother. You do realize that, right?
It's not my scene.
What is your scene?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Surprise!
Mom?
Oh my word.
You know I'm the only black person in 4 of my 5 classes.
But you're half white, too. You can fit in anywhere.
I fit in nowhere.
Too much pride to back off of it.
The world is a big place, honey. You'll find your way.
It's for the Day of Atonement. Why are we here today? The answer is simple. Our dear friends, it is a very sad day for us. Our brothers in the holy city of Jerusalem, the city of peace and freedom, have cried out for help. They implore us to vigorously demonstrate on their behalf, to let the world know the atrocity committed by none other than the so-called State of Israel. And I'm very clear, dear friends, the so-called State of Israel, because according to Jewish law, we are not allowed to have our own nation until the coming of Messiah. Calling the State of Israel a State of Israel is false. I will continue our rich 5,000-year tradition of respecting governments where we reside, and the soldier will reside in English, the old age prayer for peace for the government. I ask of all the attendants to remain silent as the prayer is said, just like it has been said in the synagogue all over the world for the day of Yom Kippur, and we respectfully request that people should stand up with Kvod HaMalchus. He who grants deliverance to kings and dominion to princes, his kingship of all worlds, he who rescued David the servant from the evil swords, who put the road through the sea and a path amid the mighty waters. May he bless, preserve, guard, help, exalt, and may great and raise high the Honorable President of the United States, Barack Obama.
You got some ID? I'm a student here. ID. Well, I don't see you IDing them. So what's so special about me? Huh?
So, how does change happen?
I believe in people creating change. Mom's from Kansas, and my dad's from Kenya.
You know what that makes you?
No, sir, I don't.
It makes you American.
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive. When I was a child, I saw my mother killed by something impossible. My father went to prison for her murder. Then an accident made me the impossible. To the outside world, I'm an ordinary forensic scientist, but secretly, I use my speed to fight crime and find others like me. And one day, I'll find who killed my mother and get justice for my father. I am the Flash.
What's going on? How you doing, brother? Pleasure. Come on, let's get a good one over here. Nobody's ever been faster than this guy. Ever. Of all the billions of people. Hold on a second. Wait, should we get a pose here?
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, man, show me.
Oh, there it is.
Wait, I gotta make sure my feet are right.
Oh, there you go.
Deckham is the perfect weapon, sir. All right, Deckham is trying to change the map of the world.
And what, blame it on a computer glitch?
Yeah, well, that and a dead president. He'll take office after wiping out everyone in the line of succession.
Dear God.
I mean, lasers? Really? To change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far, it works.
All of these are, major centerpieces in the city skyline, and they do catch the lightning. These are big towers on the top of the skyscrapers. Just explaining how frequent this is or how rare it is. As a photographer, I feel like this will be tough to do. I know that you've done it a few times, but from the normal everyday person who's lived in Chicago, I've lived in several big cities, capturing a lightning strike seems so difficult.
Well, it takes a lot of patience, and I usually have my iPad with me, and I'm watching the radar and seeing where everything will be coming through. But I'll tell you, on Friday night, it was like a shooting gallery. I think I looked at my iPad initially for when the storm started, and then for the next 3 hours, it was just a show like I've never seen before.
When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning. Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive.
Get the cover under the bridge!
Sir!
Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong. Governments have been playing with this thing.
Alleged to.
Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now, we realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo jumbo. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now. And in the laboratory, sure enough, they precipitate rain out of water vapor. Sure enough, you can actually bring down electricity down the beam.
Do you live in a space where you can get these easily, or do you have a go-to spot? And what weather do you watch in order to say, hey, this is my day? I'm sure you're not just flipping a coin here. You're probably paying attention to the conditions.
Yeah, I look at a variety of pieces of information in order for me to get real excited and get prepared for what is possibly to come. Obviously, there's some times where it's a dud, especially with the city and downtown with the lake. There are times when there's a big storm coming and it just seems to avoid the downtown area. So, but I look at, when it does happen, boy, it's almost like Christmas for me.
But we know that it was us that scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. Throughout human history, we have been dependent on machines to survive. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony.
The storm is coming.
There is a storm coming.
Hey, Cody, there's a storm coming.
The storm is coming.
There's a storm coming.
There's a storm coming, Frank.
Storm coming, kids. Let's get inside.
You can't sleep outside. There's a storm coming.
The human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. Combined with a form of fusion, the machines had found all the energy they would ever need. There are fields, endless fields, where human beings are no longer born. We are grown.
Since the show is on 24 hours a day without commercial interruption, all those staggering revenues are generated by product placement.
That's true. Everything on the show is for sale, from the actor's wardrobe, food products, to the very homes they live in.
And, of course, all of it available in the Truman catalog, and operators are standing by. Christoph, let me ask you, why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
Storm's coming.
Oh, you all better get your umbrellas out because there's a storm coming. Come on, Jorge, give it to him.
Mama always said I was born on the wild side. 1 foot in the flames and the other trying to walk the line. Can't say I never saw it coming, I can see the warning signs. Mama always said I was born on the wild side. I guess Mama was right. 'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, I'm gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. Gonna fly on wings of fire, breathing good, Lord lifts me higher, singing, oh, when they call me home. Singing, oh, when they call me home. I'm gonna ride the lightning.
For the longest time, I wouldn't believe it. And then I saw the fields with my own eyes. Watched them liquefy the dead so they could be fed intravenously to the living. And standing there, facing the pure, horrifying precision, I came to realize the obviousness of the truth. What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
Caitlyn Jenner was in Tel Aviv as the Iranian attacks began last week, ultimately fleeing the country herself after having to take cover in a bomb shelter. Caitlyn joins me right now in her first television interview since coming back home. Caitlyn, thanks so much for being with us. Congratulations and welcome home. How does it feel? Describe what it was like being in Israel as those attacks began.
I first got there. I flew in actually the day before. The first day there, actually, they had a helicopter for me so we could travel around the country.
Hi, Elvis.
How you doing?
Hey, Jude.
Menjek hazat sayavisha Elvisa. No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop. Let me out. Let me out. I want out.
Easy, Neo. Easy.
Take this thing. Don't touch me. Get away from me. Stay away from me.
Let it pop.
Breathe. Just breathe.
There's a storm coming. What?
There's a storm coming, buddy. There's a storm coming.
This is the silo.
That's a silo.
That's ever so big.
Hammond?
Yes?
This is an SS-18, nicknamed the Satan. It was targeted Ross-on-Wye.
Was it?
That's what that says.
Oh no, hang on a minute though. It says alternative target, Chipsky Norton there.
Chipsky Norton.
I think it must be damp.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
Ka! It's you!
Yes, man cub. So nice to see you again.
Oh, go away. Leave me alone.
Let me look at you. You don't want me to look at you? Then you look at me.
No, sir. I know what you're trying to do, Ka.
You do? You don't trust me.
No.
Then there's nothing I can do to help.
You want to help me?
Certainly.
Okay, so let's dedicate this to General Kelly, the Border Patrol, and the ICE agents for doing such an incredible job. Right? This was written by Al Wilson a long time ago. And I thought of it having to do with our borders and people coming in. And we know what we're going to have. We're going to have problems. We have to very, very carefully vet. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. So here it is, the snake. It's called the snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. The border. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and as soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, oh heavens, you would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up,
silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. Does that explain it, folks? Does that explain it?
Trust in me.